The November payroll report came out last week, and accompanying that is another wave of mainstream media cheering woohoo at the strong jobs report. The November jobs report is basically the same one we have been hearing in the last 6 months. But there are three important things that the cheerleading corporate media are not telling you. Number one, the number of jobs in the economy are still below pre-pandemic trends. But wait, Miss NPC. Aren't there like what 5 million jobs more than before the pandemic? So what are you talking about? Yes, that is true. But I'm actually talking about the trend, not the level. Sure, employment stood at 157 million in November 2023, compared to 152 million in February 2020. However, before the pandemic, employment had already had a steady upward trend. That is, if we follow that trend, actual employment should be at around 160 million, give or take, instead of 157 million. In other words, we're still missing about 3 million jobs, or 2% of the total non farm employment, and that is not nothing. Number two, the unemployment rate of those with less than a high school diploma is rising sharply. Well, looking at Table 8-4 of the Bureau of Labor Statistics' CES household data, you can see that the unemployment rate for those with less than a high school diploma has been rising from 4.4% in November 2022 to 6.3% in November 2023. Curiously, the unemployment rates for other educational attainment categories have held more or less steady the past year. For example, those with a high school diploma but no college has been hovering at 4% or so. And for those with some college education or an associate's degree, the unemployment rate has been hovering at 3%. And finally, for those with a bachelor's degree or above, 2%. So, what's going on? The labor force participation rate for those with less than a high school diploma has gone up quite a bit actually, year over year, 2.7%, compared to just 1.7% for those with a high school diploma but no college education. And whereas the labor force participation rate for those with college education or associate's degree has actually gone down by 0.7% year over year. While there have been 600,000 more people with a less than high school diploma in the labor force compared to last year, the number of people employed has only gone up by 400,000, and which means this leaves about 200,000 people without a job. And it is like saying 1 out of 3 have not been able to find a job. Number three, employment in temporary services has been going down. Temporary work can range anything from seasonal warehouse jobs to covering for someone on paternity leave or maternity leave. Compared to permanent jobs, temp jobs tend to have no benefits, nor do they have any opportunities for career advancement. For employers, temp workers are cheaper to hire, and when they need to trim their budgets, temp workers are often the first ones that they get rid of instead of a permanent employees. And for this, temp help employment is a leading indicator or bellwether of a recession that is yet to come. Now, looking at this chart from Fred, from the for the 2001 recession and the 2008 Great Recession, temp work peaked about a year or so before the onset of the recessions. For the 2001 recession, it peaked in April 2000, and for the 2008 Great Recession, it peaked in January 2007. This time around, though, temp help peaked all the way back in March 2022, or a year and a half, well, more than a year and a half ago. Temp jobs are more likely to be held by people with little to no skills, And these people are also more likely to live in economically precarious situations than their permanent employee counterparts. I'm not entirely sure what this means. It is possible, on one hand, that some people have been holding multiple temp jobs and they're pulling back. Let's say someone who is having three temporary jobs and they're dropping the one that is no longer worth their time. Or it could be that people with less than a high school diploma are getting crowded out of the job market, hence the uptick in the unemployment rate amongst those folks. So, what do all these observations mean? These all seem to be signs of weaknesses in the job market and the economy. And lastly, I would like to point out that the U3 unemployment rate, or the headline unemployment rate that the corporate media like to cite, has ticked up slightly since the beginning of this year from 3.4% to currently 3.7% season adjusted. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.